you got to own your shit, dude. And if you can't release a song and keep the profits or dictate where the profits go, it's just a massive mistake. And
We had to cut this whole thing. We're sorry. We're having you.
Well, welcome to Saint Aubin Central, friends. I am your wonderful host and musical icon, Saint Aubin. I am back. Happy Labor Day weekend. I did nothing. I have this tendency to overwork myself. And then one day I get really tired. And I'm like, why am I so tired? And then my wife's like, because you don't stop. And then I put her in her place, But yeah, I slept for like 3 days, and this morning I finally woke up. I was like, oh, this is what normal, how normal people should feel. I've been reading a lot about a lot of like TikTokers who go viral, and like record labels they are scouting all over TikTok just to try to find who's the next star to go viral, because you can get a huge audience from TikTok, or a song could pop up. All it takes is like one honey with a booty to start shaking it to something, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like this viral trend, But recently, Armani White, I don't know if you know who that is, signed to DefJam Records. He's the guy. Have you heard the song like "Bitch, I'm Stylish"? Like, not Billie Eilish,
yeah.
whatever. He just signed a deal to fuck, I keep saying this. DefJam, you fucking mook. Man, I'm probably gonna do it again. But he signed to DefJam. I don't know what the content was. I don't know what the agreement was. My guess is it was because he wasn't a big star. I don't think he had a ton of fans. He had a large catalog. So I would put him in the category of it's probably like an 85-15 split with a label, maybe 75-25. So, I mean, for most people, that's more than I make, I don't make anything. I make 60 cents a month from my Spotify streams. But I've seen this a lot, dude. I think a lot of these, rappers and TikTokers, they make $1 million mistake and they just sample all their music. So the reason he signed to Def Jam was because he sampled an NORE song called Nothing, and that's like the beat behind it. But he couldn't release the song because he didn't have the rights to that sample, and that's the primary reason why he signed to Def Jam Records. Same thing. I don't remember if you remember the guy Pao Fu. He wrote the "Don't go away for too long, don't go to bed."
Oh yeah.
He sampled. That was like Beady Booby Bop or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about? Beady Bella. I don't. It's a long word, and I don't read good. But he sampled her song of that coffee song, and he couldn't get the rights to release the song, so he signed his rights away. And I think it's a big mistake. I think people sample other people's stuff. I think it's a mistake. Granted, for sure you can get some notoriety, or people are like, oh, that sounds like this, and then it helps the song pop up a little bit more. But you got to own your shit, dude. And if you can't release a song and keep the profits or dictate where the profits go, it's just a massive mistake. And people like Pao Fu, people like Armani White, granted, they got paid. They got a little bit of a payday, but I don't think they maximized what they could have had, because they use other people's work. And there's so many tools out there, dude. Like Slate Digital. you can make beats on there so easily. They have pre-made loops. They have pre-made almost everything. You could select 3 pre-made stuff, and then you have a 2-minute loop, and then you could just like rap over it. But all these people, they're sampling other artists' stuff,
Yep.
and then they don't have the rights, and then they have to sign the rest of their catalog away just for one song to pop. And I think right now, like his song has, I don't know, like 70 million streams on Spotify, which is great. So like he'll get paid a little bit, but I don't know. It just, to me, and this is probably me as like an independent person, like independent minded. It just, that doesn't seem worth it to just sign a bunch of stuff away just so you can have like a viral moment, you know? But yeah, I see it all the time. More and more artists just sign the rights away because they don't have the rights to a song or to a sample.
They're trying to get big quick.
I know.
Get that one thing out there.
And it's like, it's a catchy
game.
song, dude. It's a super catchy song, but
what's his face too? Young Gravy, right? He samples that.
He samples. I do not
Rick Astley.
understand. Yeah, I mean, like, and this is the boomer in me showing. I don't understand Young Gravy. I've listened to some of the stuff. It seems like a joke.
Yeah.
And maybe then I get it as a joke, but people are like, he's into moms, cool. He was like,
oh yeah, he took
Addison Rae's mom, or something.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't understand the appeal of Young Gravy. The music doesn't sound good. It sounds like
you sound like a boomer.
I do. It sounds like unseasoned gravy. It's just vanilla and plain. I'm a boomer, dude. That's fine. I'm okay with being a boomer.
Not everything's for you.
Sharing my opinions, but I don't see the appeal to it. It's, I think, but hey, man, get your money. Get your money while you can. But is it just me? It seems like a joke.
Yeah, it feels a little.
It can't be real.
I can't imagine he's going to be like a lifelong like Hall of Fame kind of artist.
I mean,
but maybe I'm eating my words in 10 years. Who knows?
But, I mean, you remember Ice JJ Fish?
Oh yeah.
like that was one of the greatest things of the internet because nobody could tell if he was serious. Because clearly he sounds deaf. Like you can't be real if that's how you sound like.
It's about being like unique and just popping off and having like that flavor of the month kind of thing,
But I mean, too many artists, they just sign all their stuff away because they don't write. And I think it's probably a little bit, I get jaded a little bit towards rappers because they don't write their songs. Like they don't write half of their songs, which is the instrumentation.
Yeah, a lot just start from samples
lyrics now. And like songs, they just use samples that they, bought from somebody else. I think Old Town Road was a sample that what's his face? Lil Nas X,
Billy Ray Cyrus. Yeah, what I'm not a big fan of is like the Dua Lipa, Elton John like mashup songs. Have you heard those?
Oh no,
like they're kind of like redoing like Rocket Man and like some like Elton John classic, but they're these like workout like gay workout music remix.
Gay like Thailand. Woo!
It's just like. I get it. It's probably fun, but it's also like it's not for me. It's probably introducing these songs from the 70s that these kids have never heard of.
Yeah.
And to us, we're like, what the hell is going on? Like,
yeah, music, it's just weird, man. Have you heard of FN Meka?
No.
Dude, this is another like beautiful culmination of what the internet has brought. So FN Meka is a artificial intelligent rapper. It's a robot. It's not real.
Oh.
So, he had I don't even know it had 10 million followers on TikTok, and it's completely computer. Just look it up.
I am
FN
looking
Meka.
it up. I'm curious.
And it's like it's an avatar. And he had some. I can't even calling it he. It's an it.
Yeah, how dare you?
Like,
it's just,
I'm gendering it.
Yeah,
oh my
there's
gosh.
no gender to this thing.
But it popped on TikTok. And he had songs popping off, but it's all programmed. They basically, I can't remember what the programming company is called. but they pulled lyrics, they pulled melodies from hundreds and thousands of different sources to create a unique experience, which is FN Meka.
This is wild.
But this is what's crazy. FN Meka, in early August, got signed to Capitol Records.
This is so weird.
Got signed by Capitol Records, and then it was like within maybe days or weeks, got dropped by Capitol Records because of like cultural appropriation and people who aren't black, like, were the programmers. It was like some white people. There was a white guy on, like, the programming company said that the spokesperson's like, I'm the only white guy. We're also very diverse, but because a white guy programmed a artificially intelligent rapper to say nigga and stuff like that, it's like all of a sudden it's a problem. So it's a classic case of like this massive corporation just saw dollar signs and let's sign it right away. Didn't do their due diligence whatsoever.
Yeah, however, due to controversy over its stereotyping of black people, Capitol dropped FN Meka August 23rd.
But why? But this is the thing. Why is that a stereotype of black people? That's like it's also like, is that what all black people are? No, but there's a lot of black people who are rappers who do that.
Yeah, I don't know. This is such a modern problem we have. Where,
what a weird thing.
Could you ever imagine that, like, a current event popping up is like, oh, a robot got signed to Capitol Records, but then got canceled by, like...
Yeah, it got canceled by a mob. Like, what a headline.
Weird.
Like, if you were to tell me in 2000, like, oh, give it 20 years... A robot's going to get signed by a major label, and then the mob will cancel that robot, and then the major label will apologize. So that's what FN Meka is.
Such a weird thing. I don't know.
So it's very weird to me, you know. But then if you think about it, it's like that's all labels do. They just feed the machine, and they feed stereotypes, you know, just to keep their bottom line. And to make more money.
Yes,
I'm
going down the rabbit hole on Wikipedia right now. This is wild.
A weird story, but so he got dropped by his label, or their label, Zerzem label, like whatever the hell, you know, like that's also weird. It's like, how do you identify FN Meka? But this story led me to think a lot about. Will artificial intelligence replace musicians? And I think it's coming, Bubba. Like, it is coming. Yeah. If you're a musician, do what you can to have a career, because in 10 years, you ain't going to have nothing, because a robot's going to write better songs than you. And they'll be able to churn it out just like that.
It's already with that, like, art stuff that's out there. Like, you've seen, like, the AI, like, generated, like, pixel art and stuff? Or, like,
it's like, that's all it's going to be. Like...
Wild.
There's websites, like somebody just showed a website. You go to it and you type in whatever and it'll draw a picture, and it will also draw like hundreds of pictures. It's like somebody's just like,
try this.
They're like Chewbacca, Yoda in a courtroom, and it was just like boom, immediately, dude.
It's wild.
Like, in seconds.
Yeah.
So AI's coming. Where creativity, humans, the singularity is gonna come. And eventually, like, the Matrix is going to happen. They're just going to feed off of our energy, off of our cells, whatever, the electricity running through our body. And they're just going to they're going to breed us just so that they can keep doing what they're doing.
We're the best batteries.
They're doing it better than us.
Yeah.
They're doing it better than us. They're doing it at scale that we can't even, as these dumb, like, meat puppets are just like, and this AI is just like,
give me 5 seconds. I have a song for you. Yeah.
100%. So it's at first I was like, no, but there's also AI generators where you can go online and just type in like Kid Rock, Beastie Boys.
For music too.
Yeah, Kid Rock, Beastie Boys. what's some
Shania Twain.
or Morgan Wallen, and then it will pull all that data and it will write a song for you.
I tell you, I'm curious because we're also in an age now where we're dealing with the just sheer amount of like data to work. Like I was thinking about this with all the sampling. Like back in like the 70s, you didn't really sample a ton because it was really difficult to like pull in a song, sample it,
you had to like
chop
cut
it up. Yeah, like
Yeah.
literally manually like chop it up. Whereas like now it's like you have every song from at least I'd say the 80s and on was probably has a digital recording somewhere to be found that you could just take and splice and like work with. But you think about all the stuff within just last 10 years you could work with. I mean, there's just so much out there that's been recorded.
And
like,
there's just going to be more and more and more.
There's something like, I forget, it's like in the last, I'm going to get the stat wrong, but it's like the last like 5 years, we've like it's like 90% of the data has been uploaded to like the interwebs. Yeah. So it's like each year we're only uploading even more and more and more content. It's like every year we're like blowing out like last year's like amount of data.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, in the 90s and early 2000s, it was like these like 5 networks that produced.
Yeah, there was like 10 megabytes total.
Now it's like, and now everybody every 6 seconds, like every like inbred in the woods who has a cellular device is just.
But
like,
for real,
upload,
like all the boomers suddenly got iPhones now, and they're just like record. Have you like scrolled through like the sludge of TikTok and stuff where it's like
a beautiful thing, dude. I do it just because when I have low self-esteem, I get on TikTok and follow those accounts that are like, they got 3 teeth, no shirt on.
They're cooking macaroni wrong.
Their eyes are all like weird, I'm just like, this is my guy, Oh man, but no, you're right, dude. But and it's like, but the more, so it's kind of like Ancestry.com. So the more people that take DNA tests, the more accurate your information gets. And I think it's similar to AI generated music. The more people who create music and musical content, the better and better AI is going to be able to replicate. Like, just think about it, dude. AI at some point could just like take my entire discography and then like take all my video content, and then they'll write a Saint Aubin song in seconds.
Yeah, it's wild.
But I think
absolutely
like
wild.
So like like humanity would be done. We had a good run, See, and this is where sometimes I wonder if like this is like the beginning of
the end. Yeah.
Well, of what's the simulation? Like we get into, like, let's say we're into simulation like 3.0 or 4.0, where it's like we get so good at creating stuff, and then like artificial intelligence, and then the metaverse happens, and then like Elon Musk's Neuralink, you kind of plug in, and then all of a sudden you plug in, and then it starts from the beginning, and then time all starts all over again. And it's just like this continuing thing, Dang. Yeah, dude.
That's your hot take.
Yeah. Singularity's coming. Simulations, we're probably on simulation 4.0.
I'm probably naive, but I'm just like all for all of this like technological progress.
Why not, dude?
I've accepted it.
And
I'm
that's
like,
a tough thing. Yeah. That's a tough thing. It's like, do you want to be that guy when the Wright brothers were flying a plane, or like all like people were flying planes, and that one boomer in the corner just like, man wasn't meant to fly. We got to stay on the ground. And that person never left their town because they were terrified of being in the air. But it's just like the internet is what planes were in 1912.
Oh, yeah.
Except there's way worse. Like in a plane, it crashes and 60 people die. But on the internet, hundreds and hundreds of people stormed the Capitol, like, because they got bad information, So, but yeah, I think the optimist in me says that artists and musicians will always have something, have a stake in the world, or I don't think all art or music will be. I think creativity will be like the last frontier of humanity, because at least until artificial intelligence, like becomes indistinguishable from a person, like there will be something that you can connect, because certain pieces like that in-ear rig. I'm looking at it right now. That wasn't like an art piece. That was manufactured to create something. But like a song was an artistic expression of something. A painting was an artistic expression of something. And I don't think AI, and I'm a dummy, will have to artistically express something.
I think it'll be tough.
It's all numbers and programming.
Yeah, that'll be the last hurdle, is like identifying what we as humans see as beautiful or funny is like a really tough thing, because we can barely do it now. I mean, people will disagree on what they find as like beautiful or cool or funny together. Like, because you sample 100 people and you show them a clip of something and you say, hey, is this funny to you? They're gonna go, no, not funny at all. And then some people go, no, this is hilarious. So it's like AI has no idea what to do there with that. They'd be like, well, is it funny or not? Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing as like, we're always like having to kind of toe this line of like, with art and whatnot, it's like, is this crap or is this like really good? And it's very, I don't want to say subjective, but it's like, it's just a weird art. It's a weird craft. Like it's really hard to nail down. It's kind of like, I forget who said it. It was like, I think it's some like legislation, it was like in senator, and they were talking about like pornography, and they were like, well, how do you know when something's pornographic? And they just said, you know it when you see it. It's like,
well, it's like, yeah, you're kind of right.
Like, because you can't just be like, oh, it's people kissing. It's like, well, that's
or
not
like
porn.
Boobs,
yeah, it's like suddenly, well, there's art that has boobs in it. So it's like, at what point do you say, well, that's pornographic? It's like you just know, like you have a feel. It's kind of the same with why is something funny or why is something beautiful. So it's interesting.
I'm excited about the future.
Oh yeah,
I know a lot of people who are a little skittish about it, but I'm excited about it. But again, I don't know, man. I mean, if AI replaces musicians, we had it coming. Because all we do is complain, and people don't listen to my music. It's just like, well, it's not good. Probably. Why don't people listen to my songs? It's not good enough, or it just hasn't like broken through the mold or anything. Okay. I'll talk about this. I didn't want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. And I feel like I can talk about it forever. But so the whole Matt Chandler thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, for those of you who don't know, Matt Chandler, he's a pastor in Texas called the Village Church. He was like really big, and I think he kind of pulled away after a while due to like all these like mega pastors just like falling off a cliff. And I think he was wise in a lot of ways of just like, I'm just going to pull back. But he essentially he's taking a leave. I don't think he's stepping down. He's taking a leave for having some sort of inappropriate relationship with a woman. So people, if you're not like familiar with church culture, pastors tend to, there is a level of responsibility in the church term they use. It's called above reproach, where they have to be like really careful with a lot of the relationships they have. A lot of things they do are looked at with a lot of scrutiny. And I'm not one of those who's just like, get rid of it, like fuck it all, burn it to the ground. It's just like I think rightfully so. They should have like more things that are looked at with more scrutiny than normal people, because like they are responsible. They have a lot of responsibility. Yeah. But he got asked to step down or take a leave or whatever. He had a relationship with a woman that, if I remember correctly, was neither sexual or like emotional. So oftentimes, like pastors, they'll get kicked out of churches because of having an affair or having like an emotional relationship with a female.
The statement said, messages were not romantic or sexual, but the frequency and familiarity of the message crossed a line. It revealed that he did not use language appropriate for a pastor, nor modeled behavior that we expect from him. Yeah, that was their official
and that's statement. That's where you kind of lose me. Like, who's making that? Yeah, it's not a clear black and white in the Bible of like, well, these words are okay to use with the opposite sex, and these words aren't okay. Like, you get to the interpretation of other people, and that's when things get dicey. Like, I'm one of those people, like, men and women are different. If I think there was like some psychologist did a survey. If you asked 100 women, if 100 women came up to one man and was just like, I'm sorry, if one man came up to 100 women and was like, will you have sex with me? There's out of that 100 women, I think there's like 7 women who said yes. But if you flip it and, 100, one woman goes up to 100 men and is like, will you have sex with me? 50 to 60% of those dudes are like, absolutely. Like, we're built differently. Men like to get, lay some pipe. That's just what we like to do. It's in our DNA. I don't know why, but we get excited when we see a female and they're appealing to us. I don't know why. It's just what we do.
Yep.
So like, yes, there is a difference, like, and I understand in some ways why the church would be like, very suspect of being in a relationship with a woman. But my biggest problem is like the problem with the church and how they view men and women is that their primary function between a man and a woman is sexual. And I don't agree with that. I think that's a false assumption. Like, is sex a part of our relationship? 100%. Like, I got a penis, they got a vagina, one fits in one. Like, it makes sense, okay? But I think it's a problem, and it's causing issues with a lot of people. I think obviously, I think that's why a lot of people walk away from faith. But you cannot assume that the baseline function of a man and a woman is to have sex with each other.
Yeah, they like read into it a little too much. They're
100%.
saying like, oh, just because you messaged her privately, you have the intention of like having sex
and it's
with
just
her.
like, and I have friends who because I'll have coffee with female friends, or like, we'll go like hang out, go to a show or something. And they're, more conservative type, not politically, but just like, like they're more like conservative Christian, and they're just like, oh, that's dicey. That's dicey. Why is it dicey? Well, I'm like,
there's hormones.
Like I could see that, or I could just not have sex with them.
Yeah, we're not.
That seems like a possibility.
Cave people.
You are 100% like you can make the choice of, do I want to cross a line or do I not? And I understand like there's ways, like I'm not like going out super late at night with like having drinks and then going to a club and then like there's different scenarios.
Yeah.
But you can just not have sex with somebody and have like a perfectly fine platonic relationship.
The whole thing just seems fishy. Yeah, it's like there's something about. I'm really curious what the messages were. I know they'll probably never release those, but like
it was probably like, "Hey, you up?"
What if just Matt Chandler for like days, just like you up, you up, you up,
dude,
you up,
yeah, just
you up.
Matt Chandler, you up, you up. That's like the whole thing, dude. That'd be amazing. Or it's probably like, "Hey, Cheryl, we ran out of sugar. Can I get some?" And then the church was like, sugar is an innuendo for sex.
Yeah, that means
discipline.
Blow job.
Yeah, it's a little.
I'm just waiting for more info on this one to come out. I think there's more to the story though.
See, part of me says yeah, but also the other part of me is like, this is perfectly in line with churches. Like they get goofy about this stuff, and it's the same thing with like, like I mean, there's a Christian worldview and then like a normal worldview, but like seeing a woman naked is not sexual. Like, I experienced this like when I got married. Like when I see my wife naked, like she'll just walk around and I'm fine. Like, I'm not, getting swollen. You know. Like,
not what I was expecting.
But it's just like,
I think because
there's a difference between like, oh, this is sexy time, and then my wife is drying her hair, like after she got out in the shower. So it's like, the problem is like the church is just like, it's all sex.
Well, yeah, I think because they've repressed so much of it that anytime there is a hint of sexuality, it's like hypersexual. Like, oh, we saw their ankles, it's like women can, like men and women should be comfortable in their bodies, but at the same time it's like, we had people all the time, like at my church growing up, where it was like, well, she's showing a little too much shoulder for a Sunday service like this. And it's like, really? It's like, but the guys over there have like shorty shorts on playing basketball. Like, so there's just always.
Guys are gross, though.
Yeah.
Guys are gross. No, I mean, there's like, I think you can make a case of that, you know, the church's anti, like, sexual repression has created like a hypersexual.
Yeah,
culture.
that dynamic. And then it just turns into like, well, anytime you like see like someone's body, then you must be lusting after them. Or anytime like you interact with a female, it has to be like, you know.
And again, I'm gonna be the first like guy to say it. Just like men are just built different. Like we can look at one thing, like you could look at a banana and be like,
I'm thinking thoughts.
Yeah, you know, it's just like whatever it is. You can just get.
Or gross.
Dude, I remember when I was like a kid, just growing up, like I would like step out of the car and my jeans would rub against my private parts, like in a weird way, and immediately I was aroused, and I was just like, "What the hell is going on?"
Lean against a counter in a certain way,
dude, and it's just like, but like men are just built different, and like I understand that, and I want it to be like we have to recognize that. Because you can't just like completely like, well, no, let's go to the other extreme, and then all of a sudden it's just like then there's other problems. But there's just a hypersexualization of it, and I think this whole like Matt Chandler thing is a part of it. It just seems so silly to me. Yeah, and even my friends are just like, man, it's really dicey for you to have coffee or lunch or whatever with female friends. I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude, like. How do you even talk to women? Like, ever. They don't.
Well, it's like Mike Pence can't get in an elevator with them or else, like, God forbid.
Like, church dude, they can't talk to women because it's just like, oh, if I talk to them, it means I'm going to have sex with them. And I'm just like, sex, unless you're both naked, like, you have to take your clothes off first. There's multiple steps before you actually get to that place.
Mother would not approve. Yeah.
No. So it's always bugged me. And, like, I remember I was talking to a buddy specifically about it. And he was just like, you do that? I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I asked a bunch of my guy friends. They all seemed like it was a bad idea. And I was just like, yeah, that's because you always objectify women. That's the problem.
Yeah, you're weird.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, there totally could be more to the story. Or it could just be church people being weird. Because if there's one thing I know, church people are fucking weirdos. They're all a bunch of weirdos, and they don't know how to function in society. Because they're like, but what does the good book say? Or what did my pastor say? I can't think for myself.
I couldn't agree any more than that. Oh, my God.
And I love them. I'm a part of the fold, people. Chill the fuck out, you know. Yeah, it gets dicey, man. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm excited for the church gossip. Everybody loves good church gossip, dude, because it's like supposed to be this place of purity, and then someone like gets a shit stain on the underwear, and you're just like, hey, that's not pure anymore. Someone has poop follicles there. Let's go investigate it, you know? Oh, jeez. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I will, I don't have any music coming out soon. Hopefully in the next month. Or 6 weeks. I need to release more music. The process is too slow. Anyway, thanks for listening. I will, talk to you later.